Hey, today I'm restringing this 1964 vintage doll. I received it from my mother with the elastic band having snapped, which kept its legs, torso, and head together. Despite being improperly stored for 20 to 30 years, this doll is actually in very good condition, and it's a real testament to how high quality the craftsmanship of the past was, and I'm quite lucky to say that my family owns this doll, and therefore it's time to give it some love, some TLC, and try to bring it back together, especially because it does have its original clothing, which is really great, honestly, just from a historic standpoint. Right here, I just want to point out that the arms are still connected with the original elastic to the torso, so thankfully I do not have to fix that today. This is the elastic band that I picked up from my local store. Unfortunately, I'm not pleased by how thin this cord actually was. If you are going to try to restore a doll, I would try to find just a little bit thicker of a cord. If your metal attachments are a bit wider, since I think it holds on to the attachments better, you will see that it kind of slides off a bit, and also I have to purposefully tighten the metal attachments. You'll see in just a few moments. Right now I'm just stringing it in through the torso. Unbeknownst to me, this is definitely not the right direction or method to keep the doll together. So right now, as you can see, I'm going to take pliers to tighten the original metal of the legs so that the elastic band doesn't slip off as easily, trying to make like sort of a metal loop. Truthfully did not want to do this in fears that the metal could have been weak and fragile and could have broken at the pressure. Thankfully it did not, but this was not my ideal situation. Of course, I was working with the materials that I had, the type of elastic that I could find available to me, and I was able to successfully string it at the end, but I would definitely urge you to find a better suited elastic if you can. Moving on, I was truly ecstatic at this point. I thought I had nailed it. Unbeknownst to me, not gonna be perfect. I even took a safety pin to hold the elastic down just as I prepped the head. So the elastic band actually was attached to the metal using a string. I don't know if I could replicate it, so I just snipped it off, and then of course proceeded to lose the little attachment neck piece in the head. I pulled it all out and we're good. I took the thin elastic, I stringed it in through the little hole, and I was like, I'll just do a basic knot, just a quick loop around and pull through, and I figured it was gonna be golden, and you pull the string through and you will notice right there, you can see as clear as day how loose the head is. It honestly pains me when I look at it now. I was definitely frustrated. Yep. So I start over, I notice the bellows is coming out, and what do you know? It falls out off camera. I'd never even heard how a bellows works or how a doll cries. It just fell out, and I was like, well, I gotta take it apart. Why was I so excited to take it apart? Well, I just really wanted to see how it worked. So I take my little safety pin again, trying to pry it open. I pull it apart. I'm truly fascinated with it. I don't even know what it's made of, cardboard and leather. It's really cute and delicate and just kind of fun to press together. Anyways, I somehow took the confidence and was like, I need to glue this back together because I saw remnants of glue on the outside. Now, don't ask me why I thought I need to glue the inside of the bellows, completely disregarding how it would even function. You see me hesitate right there, and I was nervous. I was like, is this right? And then I start to try to add glue onto the leathery sort of portion. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to wipe this off. That is I don't think so. I really should have questioned myself a little bit more. But what do? I commit and I stick it into the glue. It was really a bad idea. And I pressed it in. What happens? No sound. I immediately freaked out. And I'm like, I've got to get these separated. How am I going to separate it? I just put glue in. So I try to take my little pencil and squished it out. It happened off camera because this was so delicate. Thank goodness it got out without really gluing down. That could have been really bad, you know. I kind of scraped off the glue I had just applied and I just stuck it in. It worked. And so, as I'm trying to show right now, that circular area in the torso near the front of the chest is where the bellows originally was. I placed the bellows back into the torso. I maneuvered it back into the position, allowing for the holes to be on the top so that air could move through the bellows and allow the doll to cry. And then using the same glue from earlier, I just stuck it onto the plate of the doll and once again positioned the bellows back into place and then checked if the doll would work again. And it worked. Thank goodness. There's the glue around the entire perimeter. And we're gonna speed through this next section because I repeated the same incorrect steps as last time. I stringed from the bottom of the legs up through the torso to the head, which I should have done the opposite. I didn't really consider it when I was doing it, and as you can see, the neck was just not stable, and I somehow was confident. I was like, if I just tie it several times, it's gonna work. And I tied it several times, pulling it as tight as possible. I don't know how I didn't realize sooner that this was just all wrong. But eventually I got there, I snipped it off, and I said, we gotta start over one more time. So again, gotta measure out some elastic. This time, a much shorter piece, a considerably much shorter piece. I stringed it from the neck. I learned my lesson. I realized I need the neck to work. It needs to stay in place. So I go from the head down the torso into the legs. And from there, it's pretty simple. I bring in the string through the metal attachments of the legs. I tie the knot really tightly, pulling it as taut as possible, and it works out. Could it have been a little tighter? Yes, but the point is that the doll's together. Sure, it's a little dislocated near its right leg, but my goal was always to let it be complete and whole again. Ta-da! There you go. The doll's complete. Just gotta snip off the rest of the excess elastic. Looks great, doesn't it? Time to redress the doll. And if I didn't mention it before, the clothing is original to the doll from 1964. The only few things to note is that it originally had white socks and white shoes have been unfortunately lost over the years. The doll's original hairstyle was 2 pigtail plaits with white ribbons at the ends. The eyes blink on the doll, similar to many baby dolls. However, it is missing eyelashes on its left eye. The doll also had painted nails. However, the paint has sort of faded and spread out across the doll's fingers. The doll's crier used to be a lot louder, but of course, over time, since the bellows has dried out, it is definitely not as impactful. Regardless, it is restrung and working as a doll once again. That's all I could have hoped for. And there we have it. It was a long process from start to finish, but I'm glad I was able to document it. This was my first voiceover video, so thank you for staying to the end if you did. And I hope I can make more videos similar to this in the future. Bye!